Hello, my name is Cole,
Hi, I'm James.
I'm Carter.
and we are Citizen Kane 2. We're three annoying and pretentious film students, and we're here to talk to you about movies.
Cole, will you put your pants back on?
Why has it been that way?
Sounds like the intro to like a Christian rock song.
Is that not what this is?
Absolutely. Only Christian films.
Okay, that was going to go on forever. We're here. We are going to be drafting the best films from the 2010s.
Straight from Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, baby.
Exactly.
Does that include the year 2010 and 2020?
Oh, yeah.
Not 2020.
Not 2020?
Yeah, so it's 2010. It has to be premiered before 2019. That does mean The Father, it actually isn't viable.
I disagree.
It was it premiered in January of 2020, which is crazy that such a good Oscar film
That's close enough.
came out in Dumpyary, but here we are.
So the cutoff is December 2019.
Yes.
Okay. Dude, we don't have like a D20 dice here. like
we don't.
planned. So how are we going to determine who goes first?
Well, look, I'm gonna flip this.
I have a coin. I got
I
like
guess
four
we
coins
could
in
do
my
that.
wallet.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
some coin. Well, we just do paper, rock, scissors.
Fuck, I'm not good at that.
But
Okay, then flip a coin.
okay.
Okay, so we're gonna flip a coin to determine our draft order. We'll do a snake draft. Once a movie is picked, the other ones cannot pick it. So it's a bit of a competition. We're gonna have you, the listeners, vote who had the best list at the end of the day.
I have no idea what kind of coin that Carter has here, but it's got some random skeleton on it, and it says, I thought it said cunt, so I'm not sure. But, all right.
It's Latin for looks can be deceiving. Murphy's magic.
Okay, all right. Interstellar boy over
he
here.
likes magic.
All right, so what? So I just flip a
Wait,
coin
I have one question real quick.
Yeah.
Is that coin for you to do up close magic?
That's what I got it for you.
Oh, my God. All right. So what? I just flip a coin, and then...
You flip a coin to see the winner of you two.
All right. What you got?
I'll go with Tails Never Fails.
All right. I need some head, I guess. All right. Tails never fails. It is. Carter begins the podcast.
Yeah, and then me and you, James, will determine second and third with that.
Okay. You flip it this time.
All right. I'm gonna. What do you want to call, buddy?
I'm going head still.
Gotta get some head.
Damn it.
James,
All right.
James goes third, so it's gonna be Carter. Go and the James.
I protest. That's a weighted coin.
It is. It might be. I don't.
It came from Carter's backpack, and you don't trust anything from Carter's
It's definitely
backpack.
not legal U.S. currency.
Absolutely not.
There you go, Carter.
All right.
Alrighty. So, Carter,
You've got the
the
floor.
you got the floor. First pick of the draft.
All
Who you
right, I'm
getting?
gonna start with Whiplash by Damien Chazelle.
You son of a bitch!
Okay, so
Whoa! See, this guy is out here. Do you see what he's doing? He's playing mind games because I thought he was going to take Tree of Life, which I wasn't worried about because I haven't seen it. But
we're gonna try to objectively discuss why it's the best, and for several different reasons. Maybe why it's like culturally relevant, why it's our personal favorite, what a little bit behind like the filmmaking of each, just to give a little backstory. So
Okay, yeah. First of all, the movie's literally perfect from like a filmmaking perspective. The script is very tight, it's very close. Every single thing moves the story forward. I feel like this mic is like I'm cutting out here.
no, you're doing great. You sound great.
Okay. And J.K. Simmons is horrifying. I think.
he also looks like a turtle.
He does a little bit. Yeah.
He looks like
Or
a
a
very
thumb.
muscly
Or a thumb.
turtle.
Yeah, I would not fuck with J.K. Simmons at all. J. Jonah Jameson, right?
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you rushing or are you dragging?
Oh fuck! I didn't study.
Um,
So what's your favorite part about this film? I mean, like, do you have like a specific moment that shines? Like, what? I mean, Damien Chazelle's directing specifically is pretty stellar. But what do you have to say?
My favorite scene definitely is the "Not Quite My Tempo" scene.
Yeah.
I think that's everyone's favorite scene.
it's iconic.
But also the movie is just the character of J.K. Simmons specifically is just so unpredictable. Specifically because you think like when you're watching it, you think you know what he's gonna do next, but he is just He just is such an unpredictable person, and that goes throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, well, Whiplash is one of my all-time favorites. Actually, Carter is the one who showed it to me.
I think there's a pretty supreme lack of movies about jazz. I mean, there's Round Midnight by Bertrand Tavernier. We have Soul by Disney. And I'm thinking like Damien Chazelle has just a deep appreciation for jazz music, and it just seems kind of like a love letter to it.
It does. And like also perseverance, hard work, but also how like your personal drive can also warp you, you know?
When I first saw that movie, I had read that Miles Teller had gotten into some sort of accident that lodged like actual rocks in his face.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I could not stop myself from looking at that. But he does give an excellent performance. I have not seen him in Top Gun Maverick, but apparently that's his magnum opus type of performance.
I still think Whiplash is his best performance, personally.
Whiplash is a phenomenal movie. Also, why jazz? A movie like that with such a heavy jazz score, it's so sexy.
So we're talking Whiplash came out in 2014. That was the beginning of, I mean, that you talk to a lot of like film people, that is their favorite movie.
Yeah.
It really defined a lot. I'm not sure I know it's not A24 who made that, but the ending of Whiplash, particularly when he goes on that extreme solo after being completely, caught into a, he's got chills right now.
Yeah, me too, brother.
He gets into a car accident. Obviously, he's a very studious jazz drummer who cannot live up to par with his teacher's standards. So I think the brilliance for me is kind of just that it's not in a very intricate film. There's only a few locations, only a few characters, and it's terrifying. Yeah,
to piggyback off of what you said about the ending, I was holding my breath for like the entire last 10 minutes of the ending.
Yeah.
And not a single line of dialogue was said, I think.
It is it's an amazing movie.
Did it pick up the Academy Award?
No, but J.K. Simmons did win Best Supporting Actor.
Okay. I think it was nominated for Best Picture if memory serves me right.
Yeah, it was nominated.
So. Do we know what won in 2014? It might have been Spotlight.
I think that's 2015.
No, 2014 might have been, okay. Correct me on my
2016's Moonlight.
Here. I think 2014 was Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, right?
I think it's Birdman. I think it goes, I could be wrong, but
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, I pulled that up. I think it's Birdman, then Spotlight, then
and then
Moonlight, and then Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Best Picture in 2014 was 12 Years a Slave.
Oh.
All right, so that's Academy bait right there. I have not seen it.
I saw it in theaters when it came out. I remember I brought a young lady to see that movie.
So Cole, give us a rating on Whiplash. How do you rate it?
Oh, I rated it 10.
Yeah, 10, absolutely.
A 10 because I rated 10 as a movie afterwards. Not only did I appreciate it as a good piece of film and a good piece of art, but I literally can't sit down. I get excited. I'm fucking energized, and Whiplash did that for me in a big way.
Yeah, he's not joking. Like when I first saw him watch it, he was all over the room.
Yeah.
He was on top of the table.
Carter, I'm assuming you give it a perfect 10 as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to be obnoxious here and just at least, to break with the crowd, I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Mainly
Wrong.
because out of Damien Chazelle's
it's your
filmography, certainly my second favorite, but we'll get into that in a moment. Cole, how about you get your second?
Well, this is my first pick.
Your first.
That's what I'm saying. We're each going to try to pick 10, so maybe...
Let's do it.
Let's do it. My first one, I am going to have to go with my boy, Denis.
Okay.
I'm picking...
Denis Villeneuve, right?
It's my favorite movie, maybe ever. It's up there for me. I love Arrival. So much. It is... So... I love sci-fi. But the best thing is when you can take a genre like sci-fi or take a genre film and then you can elevate it to another level. And... I don't know if anyone is currently doing that as good as Denis Villeneuve. And Arrival is like that first, he's been on a sci-fi bender now for the last 5 years.
Like a brief synopsis of Arrival, and then tell me some of like the themes that you got out of it.
So, I mean, it's about a woman who she's a linguist.
Linguist. Yeah.
And she's called by the U.S. government because there's all these giant pods showing up all across the world, and it's terrestrial life trying to make contact with humans, right? And she goes and she's supposed to try to help them communicate with the aliens so they can figure out what they want. It's a very first encounter type of movie. But she also keeps having these dreams and these flashbacks about her child. I don't want to say too much because if you haven't seen it,
Go
watch
give
the
us the
movie.
spark notes.
Yeah, but at some point it comes to light that the aliens are there to give a weapon, and this causes everyone to panic and freak out. And she's the only one who actually has the ability to communicate with the aliens properly and understand what they're trying to say. I'm not gonna say anything more than that.
And a lot of people have relayed that imagery to man trying to make sense and reason with God himself. And so there's a lot of like subliminal themes there.
Especially what she ends up with something that that is very godlike. Once again, I don't want to say too much, but the film is fucking awesome, and it plays with the Christian idea of predestination a lot, which is if you grew up in a religious household, I'm sure it's something that you've thought about or heard of. If you've spent any time with Western religion philosophy, predestination is something that people talk about a lot of.
Right.
And it's a very hard topic, and it's really hard to try to explain in a film. But he does it. It's a poem. I mean, the film it executes it so beautifully.
Carter, what are your favorite parts about Arrival?
Oh man, Arrival changed my life when I saw it. I didn't even know movies like that could exist, and I had already seen a bunch of great films. But particularly my favorite quote from Arrival is, "If you could see your life from start to finish, would you change things?" And despite knowing the journey and where it leads, I embrace it and welcome every moment. Yeah, that just really touched my heart because it kind of put me at ease from a bunch of thoughts that I was having. When you get a dog, when everyone gets a dog, you know where that journey is going to go. You know that your dog is going to die, whether it be through an accident or of old age. It's going to happen
In your lifetime, you'll experience it.
Yeah. And so that movie kind of just put me at ease a little bit and made me realize that when I'm with my dogs, I just gotta be there, love them, be where my feet are, stop looking at my phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well said.
Be in the moment.
I love Arrival. I am cruising closer to a 10 than I am a 9 on Arrival.
Yeah, me too.
It's it for me, obviously.
As far as Denis Villeneuve, he's given us quite a lot of science fiction. The 2010's was his just playground. I mean, there's nobody who dominates the master of mixing art with a blockbuster that is just
absolutely.
packed with different stuff. So surface level, Arrival is just kind of like a badass science fiction movie, but it's got something for a little bit of everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're art house movies, but they're accessible.
Big budget art house movies, which we need more of. So.
Yeah, it is. It's truly special. I think the best directors are able to toe that line, especially directors who have big impact on the industry as a whole. When you look at guys like Hitchcock and Spielberg, they find a way to have make a piece of art that's meaningful but also accessible,
right?
Which is really difficult, and it's getting progressively difficult. But that might be a whole nother podcast.
Is it my turn, boss?
It is your turn. What's your first pick, my guy?
All right. So it's an easy choice. It's one of my favorite films ever made. The film is Her. It is made in 2013. It is directed by Spike Jonze. You might know Spike Jonze from Jackass. You might also know him from Being John Malkovich or Where the Wild Things Are. But Her is a film. It's a very personal film that he, in essence, wrote himself as the main protagonist, who's going through a incredible loss. For Spike Jonze's reason, I'm going to have to talk about the Her and Lost in Translation thing. But he was married to the famous filmmaker Sofia Coppola, daughter of Francis Ford Coppola, cousin of Nicolas Cage. And so at some point, I think they split in 1999, something around that time when she was making the Virgin Suicides. And so they had spent a lot of time overseas. Spike was making movies and doing skateboard documentaries. And then Sofia Coppola was kind of finding her own voice at that time. And a lot of the time she was exploring her own adolescence and navigating a really important relationship. And for lack of a better terms, they could not make things work out. And so in response to this relationship, Sofia Coppola makes Lost in Translation, which is a very beautiful movie. It wouldn't be until 10 years later after Lost in Translation is made when Spike Jonze makes Her. And they really serve as companion pieces to one another. And it's one's response to just the most intricate details of what it means to love and be loved by another person. So in essence, Her is it's a weirdly apocalyptic world where we're all living in right now. In some essence, we're all so connected to our phones, and we live in a society. I'm going to say it. Joaquin Phoenix. Anyways, Joaquin Phoenix character, he falls in love with an AI. Which is kind of a jarring thing that on first glance, a lot of people, I remember when I watched Her back
I remember when it came out.
Yeah, it was on Netflix like back in like 2013 or area. I laughed at it. I just didn't understand it at the time. And then I grew up and I guess I experienced love, and I really just connected with his character. It's sad. It's really, really sad, but it's beautiful. It accompanies a score by Arcade Fire. Which is just absolutely memorable in every way, shape, and form. But Spike Jonze would win the Academy Award for Best Screenplay for this film. It also stars Amy Adams. We got a little bit of Arrival in there as well. Yeah. But yeah, what do you guys think about the film? Carter?
When I first started watching the film, I was weirded out a little bit because of the phone of the scene where Joaquin Phoenix's character was having phone sex with a prostitute, and then she was like, "Choke me with your dead cat," and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell did I get myself into?" But then by the time the end of the film came around, I was in tears because similarly to what you were saying about social media and stuff, I had realized by the time I had gotten into the film, just how much time that like I spend on social media, just like mindlessly scrolling through the internet without even like thinking. And also similarly to Arrival, it kind of just reminded me to like be where my feet are, set my phone down, make a human friend, have human connections.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things about that film to me is I just remember when it came out how jarring like the trailer was, and how many people in my life I remember talking about how like just like there's almost like a stigma to it. They're like, that movie's fucking weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then if you watch it yourself, you're pretty blown away by the sentiment of it.
There's a
also,
couple.
Is that why you have that mustache?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've actually been told I look like Joaquin from Her. But something that I find really interesting about this movie is that his profession in the film is that the society is so disconnected from each other. They're so connected that they're so disconnected in a way. And so Theodore Twombly, he writes love letters for a living. He works for a company who just offers sentiments to lovers. And I like this one a lot. So this is Theodore writing for someone else, but he says, "Roberto, will you always come home to me and tell me about your day? Tell me about the guy at work that talked too much, the stain on your shirt at lunch, and even if you get home late and I'm already asleep, just whisper one thing in my ear, one little thought that you had today, because I love the way that you look at the world, and I'm so happy I get to be next to you and look at the world through your eyes. Love, Maria." So
I'm also proud of us. I think we all picked movies that were very like individually have like heavy sentiment to each of us.
Yeah.
Which is special.
absolutely, yeah.
Carter, would you like to make your second pick?
Sure, but one more thing about Her, it has something I love about that movie so much is the very melancholic atmosphere to the film, and like those films are just the best.
Isn't it shot by Hoyt van Hoytema?
Yeah, and his cinematography is excellent. Wide open lens.
Name some of his like prominent films that he shot, if you remember.
I don't know that much that he shot.
Okay, that was a trick question. I can answer that. I believe Hoyt van Hoytema. He's the cinematographer for The Revenant. The cinematographer.
No, Emmanuel Lubezki did The Revenant.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
He did Nope though for sure.
He did do Nope. That's the only other one I know.
Oh my gosh, I know he did like a million.
I know like the whole story appeal like comes to him and is like, if you could only shoot on one camera, what would you shoot? And he was like, it would be my IMAX.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I'm pulling. Okay. Apparently, he shot Dunkirk, Ad Astra, Interstellar, Oppenheimer, Tenet, all of Christopher Nolan's stuff, basically.
Yeah.
So I knew it was quite an impressive resume, but
yeah.
So we're back to Carter, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, no, actually, no. It's a snake draft, so we're actually back.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
to
that's
James.
right. That's right.
Oh goodness. Okay.
So James, what is your second pick?
So I'm going to be controversial here. I am going to choose Luca Guadagnino's "Call Me by Your Name."
Okay.
Which is essentially it is a LGBTQ love story that takes place in northern Italy, starring Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer, written by Andre Aciman, who actually stars in the film as well. It's important to talk about the controversy in this film and why I think the controversy is stupid. If you read the book, first off, just a general overrealization, this is a very intimate love story between two people, and often there's a lot of tropes with LGBTQ films that explore just extreme amounts of trauma, and there's not a whole lot of positive ones just because I guess what it means to exist in society as an LGBTQ person.
It's a reflection of the experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it's between the simplicity of the film for me. The performance it's Oscar winning from Timothée Chalamet as well, and then mainly just the adaptation from the book itself. It is a beautiful one, and some of the sentiments of Andre Aciman's personal life and exploring kind of love and sexuality and adolescence and that sort of thing is always something really important in society. But basically, first off, Armie Hammer might be a cannibal. So we just don't know about that. There's no necessary like extreme evidence that has been brought against him. However, we're not even going to focus on that. Okay. Most people get turned off by the age difference between Armie Hammer and
right.
Timothy, which is it's a considerable argument. I will say in the book, there's no defined age difference between them, and it's also important to look at society of Europe, and we perceive sex in our society, which is a good thing, quite a different way than Europeans do. This is the reason why Roman Polanski, notorious rapist, and Woody Allen hide in Europe, because they're not going to get prosecuted for their sex crimes. But in a way, I think the main takeaway from what I'm trying to say is that Europeans look at sex a little bit differently. So when I first watched this film, I wasn't really even looking at the age difference between them. It was more, I think it's something like he's supposed to be 17 and 25 or something like that. Right. I'm not sure. But anyways, I won't even harp on that for too long. But it is an absolutely beautiful film. Luca Guadagnino. This is the first time that I watched something from him. He also directed Suspiria, the remake by originally by Dario Argento, also from Italy, right? Dario Argento, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, I like Sufjan Stevens' score. It's one of the most beautiful soundtracks that you can see. But yeah, overall, just a love story. One of my favorites. So, have you guys seen the film?
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
And that's it.
Yeah, man, it's decent, I guess. Yeah.
Well, okay. What do we rate it?
I would give it an 8 or 9.
8. Okay.
I think I'd give it a 7. I liked it, but I watched it a long time ago, and I think I was a lot less patient of a moviegoer then.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can put up with that more now, but it's the ending that gets me. My boy Timmy T just really brings it with the ending.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Timothy Chalamet's performance in it is awesome. I also love the color in the film.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very strong. I think it's important when you see these stories that we're discussing. Obviously, they touch your lives at different times in your growing up experience. When this movie came out, it was in the first time I fell in love, just in general, and so this had a profound influence on me. Just kind of exploring the view of I'm not a gay man, and so just kind of exploring what it's like just to get an opposing worldview of something is always something that I try to do when I watch films.
It's a movie I've been wanting to revisit because I watched it when it came out, and I don't know if I think it might have been a little too jarring for me. I don't know if I was in the right place to really process it.
That's fair.
But it was definitely a very well-made movie. I would like to watch it again.
And we're not getting a sequel because Armie Hammer might be a cannibal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, recently the director actually said that it's possible that we could get a sequel exploring more of Elio.
Okay. Well, there is a book called Find Me that is the direct sequel to it. I will not give anything away. It is a good book, very good read. Andre Aciman is a wonderful writer, and he, like I said, he makes a cameo in the film itself. So if we are snaking, that means we're back to Cole, right?
Yeah.
What you got, man?
Oh man, this is difficult. There's obviously still a lot of good stuff. I'm gonna take Hereditary.
Someone had to.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Lord.
Hereditary. Hereditary is Ari Aster's. I guess we've only released
First feature-length film.
the first feature-length film, and it's phenomenal. I think it's the greatest horror movie ever made.
It is a 10 out of
I
10
agree,
for
yeah.
me. Yeah.
It is elevated horror at its best. I was talking to y'all about this, and I think I said this the other day. There's a lot of things I really love about this movie.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah,
Let's
there's
do
a lot
it.
to unpack. But I love the theme that, like, the evil is always right there. It's on the doorstep. And in Hereditary's case, the grandmother's been living with them and has been a part of their lives and has like her play. She's reestablished a connection with this family later on in her life, and she was estranged for a while.
I have a question already.
Yeah.
Wasn't it that this film was A24's most prominent release until Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
most
this was the
profitable
highest grossing A24 film. Ari Aster had
for a
made
long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I still think it should be. But Ari Aster had made one short film, which is
No, he's made two. There's something about the Johnsons, which is a very
horrifying.
yeah, it's a very horrifying experience to go through. But also, there's a short film. I don't know if it's pre or post Hereditary, but it's called Munchausen, and it's a silent film. It's
Wow.
great. It's great.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
great.
I'll figure that out. Watch. I haven't seen that.
What's your favorite like parts of it? I mean,
Okay. So I like that evil's always right there, and it takes loss, like extreme loss, like familial loss, life-altering loss, for the evil to be able to take hold of the family. So one of my favorite scenes is just you see Alex Wolff after
so good.
the most tragic thing, one of the most tragic things I've ever seen in a movie, and he just sits in his bed, and you hear the mom get up and like get ready for work, and you hear her keys jangle when she goes out the door, and it
Just a horrifying wail.
I will literally
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I can picture it right now.
The sound of that movie, the soundscape that film puts together, is an experience.
Did you see it
of
in
itself.
theaters?
No, I didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah,
That-
neither did I.
That is one of the craziest theater experiences that I've ever had in my life. It was just, it's such a whole like jarring film. I don't know if anybody has seen like A Quiet Place in theaters,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
feel like you're going to die if you open up popcorn.
yeah.
After the most monumental scene in this movie, and I think probably if you're a film buff, you've seen Hereditary by now, but there is a decapitation in this film.
Oh yeah.
I have never seen a theater go completely silent. Your stomach is just gut churning.
My balls were inside of me.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
That it is so intense, especially anytime it's sibling stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah, yeah.
God.
Oh man, but the soundscape of that movie is so good, and one thing I love about Ari Aster is he knows when to use sound and when not to use sound.
Yeah.
And so you'll have steady sound until the moment he really wants your butthole to clench, and then there's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You'll have violin blasts getting bigger and bigger, and when most horror movies are going to throw something in your face for that payoff, he just cuts it, and then you're left with nothing. And that nothing is so much, it's so worse than like any jump scare or
Definitely,
any cheap little
yeah.
thing. And not that there isn't like some fun horror movie stuff in this. It's just he does such a good job of psychologically exverting your expectations and just fucking your mind.
I know I must be mentally ill because the Hereditary score, I just listen to that sometimes.
Dude,
It's
me too.
So
Me
fucking
too.
scary.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so scary. I think it's the greatest horror movie ever made. I
agree.
I don't
Another
think there's
thing-
any there's no modern day debate over that. I can't even think of anything that's more prominent than Hereditary.
No.
The only thing that comes to mind is something like The Exorcist, but it's good, but it's
It
not.
just doesn't hold
not
up against
Hereditary
Hereditary.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Something you mentioned about the film is the like severe lack of jump scares, which doesn't give us any kind of release at all.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Ari
yeah.
Aster has us holding our breath until the very end, and it
The
explodes.
anxiety
Yeah.
that you're feeling, and then
He doesn't cut away. He's not afraid to just keep the camera on the
Yeah.
subject.
Yeah, and also that decapitation scene that you mentioned, James. When I first saw that, my jaw was on the floor, and I was holding my breath for the entirety
Oh,
of
yeah.
the like 3 minutes that scene lasts.
And how? Okay, so like after this happens, Alex Wolff's performance is incredible.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you can't, when you get the most horrifying experience, like accidentally decapitating your sister.
dude, that
He-
Naked Brothers band guy killed it.
Well, he sits at the foot of the wheel, and he's
Yeah.
just like, I can't turn around.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
I
not
can't
even
look at this.
moving.
I'm not concerned with going to pick
So
up her
good.
head. You know, he sits there in the red light.
Yeah, he's frozen.
It's so real.
Oh my god,
It's so
yeah.
real because, people like to say that they would do this and they would do that. First of all, there's nothing you fucking can do at that point.
Yeah.
But like, just I felt the dread that he felt. I can't talk about this movie though without talking about one specific scene. I swear to God, I watch once a month.
Hail Payman.
No, not Hell Payment. Very good scene as well. But the scene I watch once a month is them at the dinner table.
Oh yeah.
Don't you swear at me, you
Dude.
little shit.
I am your mother.
Yeah.
All I get is that fucking face on your face.
Brilliant
dude,
scene.
dude.
Brilliant scene.
Oh my God, it is so. Because the moment when she starts to accuse him, and then he looks up
Oh,
at her and
yeah.
says, "Why was she at the party?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. What makes
Cole
it
does
so
a really good
powerful?
Toni Collette.
It's not even.
Thank you.
It's not just a horror movie. It's a family drama.
It's a family
It's
drama
tragic.
as well.
That's sometimes the
Which
scariest
is horrifying.
too.
It's just
Yeah.
horrifying because the family drama is what allows
the horror to
the
come
horror
through.
to come through.
Universally relatable in a really weird way.
Yeah, it is. It is just a masterpiece. It really is.
Also, that one scene near the end of the film, it's almost at the end, with Alex Wolff's character in his bed, and the shot lingers on that for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It took me so long
Yeah,
before
yeah,
I noticed
noticed.
that his mother was up in the top
Oh,
corner of
yeah.
his room. When I saw that, I shit my pants.
Yeah.
It was the scariest thing I've ever seen. And
I
then
think-
also while I watched that, my printer just started printing like randomly. So that was scary. Yeah.
I think the last point that I'll make about this film is that in film school, it seems that Ari Aster is really highly regarded for a couple of reasons. He knew the quality of his script of Hereditary, and allegedly, I don't have my story 100% straight here, but there were several people who tried to pick up Hereditary until he declined them and decided that A24 was the company that he wanted to proceed with. And so having a script and knowing your own worth is very,
Yeah.
very important as far as filmmaking goes.
It is so hard.
Yeah. Shout out to A24. They're the leading company in preserving artistic integrity.
That is true,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully, with another smash hit like Everything Everywhere All at Once, they'll continue to give young directors a chance at
Absolutely.
making their own movies.
We are back to Carter now, aren't we?
Yes, we
Oh
sure are.
yeah, we are. I guess so. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Interstellar for this one.
You
Fuck.
son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all had Interstellar on our list.
We all love Interstellar.
Yeah.
What isn't there to like, though? There's not a damn thing.
no.
I
No.
mean, it's the best Nolan movie for sure.
And Cole and I were just talking about this. We are very critical of Christopher Nolan. He's kind of a dick, in my opinion. Releasing first off, Tenet. I don't mean to cut you off, but Tenet was just a fucking dog shit movie. but he releases it in the middle of like height pandemic, and he's like, nobody's coming to my movie.
Yeah, no, I mean all that's true, and I do agree that Tenet is like it's not a great movie, but you can't. Something that I will always praise Christopher Nolan for is he's always doing something that's never been done in Hollywood before, and original with his films. For instance, like his new Oppenheimer movie is the very first movie to be shot on IMAX black and white film.
Oh, I didn't know it was black and white.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer's got a pretty killer cast.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for it.
But Cole and I are going to see Barbie first because that releases on the
Oh,
same
yeah, me
day.
too.
Well,
Me too.
Barbie's priority for sure. Greta Gerwig's Barbie is
It's gonna be a masterpiece.
I'm so fucking ready.
What's okay? So
Interstellar. Give it to us,
Interstellar.
Carter.
What do you rate it a 10?
Absolutely, yeah. My favorite thing about Interstellar, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, is that it's such a huge space epic, like Odyssey, yet at the core of the story, it's really just about love. And I love the idea of having such a huge, like, cinematic spectacle, but the center of the film being so grounded and something as simple as love.
It's relatively small, considering how grandiose of a film it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is this mic like screwing up? Because I feel like it keeps going in and out.
You're fine as long as you stay up on it.
Okay, because I feel like it's gonna
Yeah, as long
screw
as
up
you,
the
like-
entire podcast.
No, as long as you project your voice and like get as close as you can, I think it's fine. You cut out just a little bit, like to the left, but I think you're good.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I'm hearing you just fine. I know
Yeah,
I'm right
I've been
next to
hearing you just
but
fine. Just you have to stay like directly on it.
We'll fix it in post.
Oh.
Something that I was also discussing with Cole right before this. I turn on. I don't remember who said it. It was one of you guys. Hans Zimmer did like.
Oh my God.
He did a bowl with Jesus Christ himself.
Dude.
Right before.
He saw God when he made that score.
Oh yes. The score is incredible. We have a young Timothy Chalamet in this film. We have Jessica Chastain, Carter's favorite.
Well, she's not my favorite. I love the woman, but she's not my favorite.
Okay, all right. Well,
I have a crush on Haley Steinfeld.
Is she in this movie?
No. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
If we're picking favorites.
She's in True Grit, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She got youngest person to be nominated for an Oscar at 13 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have the president of Texas, the honorary president of Texas, Matthew McConaughey, starring in this film. As well.
Yeah.
It
he
is
did
the
great.
height. It's the height of the reconnaissance.
Yeah. And I guess we're maybe failing to the average person who doesn't watch movies. We need to give like a little bit of bio about it. Do you want to do that?
Right. No.
Okay. All right.
Just fucking watch the movie.
No, I don't think I could do
Just like a slug line. I think a good slug line of that would just be like a former. He worked for NASA, right?
Yeah.
Earth is in decay. Climate change is kind of ravaging, and we have to seek out alternative ways to advance society and to keep the human race going. So who else to call but Matthew McConaughey?
Right. Yeah. Amen.
Also, Casey Affleck is in this movie
Yeah,
as
he
a
is.
grown-up Timothy Chalamet, which is weird.
Yeah. I mean, he did good.
But oh yes, I love Casey Affleck. That might be problematic as well. Put that to the side.
I was sitting there like, okay.
Manchester by the Sea is a classic. What was I gonna say? Fuck. We were talking about Hereditary. I mean,
Interstellar.
No,
Interstellar.
God damn it. I don't know. Come back to me, Cole. I lost my train of thought.
Well, we are almost 40 minutes in, so we should probably
Okay. All right. So
speed our roll up a little
I give
bit.
it a 10. You give it a 10.
Yeah.
I give it a you would have to give it a 10.
Yeah. Okay.
I would love to talk more about that movie, but maybe. for
That's a whole
another-
podcast.
We can do a
Yeah,
whole
maybe
podcast.
for
We
another
should-
episode.
We could do a viewing of Interstellar and then record directly after.
Okay.
Okay. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so we are Carter. You're up again.
Oh shoot. Yeah. Oh man. No, the Father, right?
No, we can't
Can't
do the father.
Damn.
That's
okay.
for our 2020s.
It would have already been picked.
Well, then
Probably.
I'm gonna have to go with Nocturnal Animals by Tom Ford.
Oh,
Fuck, that is such a good
dude!
choice.
I didn't even have that on
Yeah.
my list.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Why didn't I not even think of that?
God.
Yeah.
Damn it, man. That is such a good movie.
Okay, so Tom Ford is a designer. He makes
Yeah.
purses
Fashion designer.
and shoes and
Colognes, fragrances. Yeah.
Yeah,
Carter's
and-
a big fragrance guy.
Yeah, I'm a frag head.
I fucking hate you.
Probably one of the weirdest cinematic flexes in history to me is that this man makes two of the most profound movies of the 2010s, and I think he's done with filmmaking, to my knowledge.
Who knows?
Well, he does.
Hey, if he gets a whim,
The
do another
man
one,
has a very busy schedule.
he does A Single Man with Colin Firth.
Yeah, I haven't
get
seen
him.
that.
That's an amazing
I
movie.
still haven't seen that.
It is we're not talking about A Single Man.
Yeah.
Talking about Nocturnal Animals starring Jake Gyllenhaal,
Amy Adams, Armie Hammer,
Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon.
Michael
yes.
Shannon, Isla Fisher, for part of the movie.
Yeah. Man, dude, that movie
Absolutely polarizing.
so polarizing. I think it's beautiful. I love
yeah.
the way the story is told.
Oh yeah.
Give us a synopsis, Cole. Just like a
God.
quick synopsis.
That's
That's a hard one.
Yeah, that is a hard one.
yeah, because it's like two movies.
Well, okay, so it is
Yeah.
about a writer
Yeah.
who has gone through a divorce.
Yeah.
And so he kind of portrays himself within the book that he's writing and his story with
That is being read by Amy Adams.
yes.
His ex-wife.
Yeah.
And so utterly it's him kind of reflecting on what their relationship was like, how he felt betrayed. And so throughout this, correct me if I'm wrong, he kind of makes fiction out of some of their story, but
Yeah.
uses
Definitely.
heavy metaphors and
Yeah, the movie is very heavy with the metaphor.
Definitely.
Um,
Which I think is why it's so polarizing.
Yeah.
we almost
yeah.
forgot the best part of Nocturnal Animals, and it is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Oh my God,
He
dude.
is so terrifying.
He is so scary in that
I
movie.
think I don't know him as a person, but I can only assume he's evil.
There is a scene in this film where Jake Gyllenhaal and his wife at the time are going through the desert of Texas,
Yeah.
and they get run off of the road, and essentially Jake Gyllenhaal's family gets raped and killed.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a metaphor for how Jake Gyllenhaal's
That
character.
scene after they pull them off on the road lasts 20 minutes of just pure terror.
Yeah,
One of the
it's-
hardest things I've ever watched.
I 100% agree with that. But anyways, like his family just gets murdered and killed, and this is kind of
Raped, yeah.
fictionalized in the book, right?
Yeah. It definitely. Yeah, the book is completely fictional.
But
just
it's
filled with
more
metaphor.
it's more of a metaphor about how when him and Amy Adams split, kind of his own mental state and
Yeah, but also Amy Adams' character had an abortion with Jake Gyllenhaal's character's baby.
oh yeah.
And he didn't even know that she was pregnant at the time. And she was also cheating on him with Armie Hammer.
So it's kind of Jake coming to grips with what happened.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil the ending, but I will let you know the central theme of this film is revenge.
Oh yeah.
Revenge and then love lost, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
One of the most terrifying but brilliant quotes in the film. No, geez, now I'm gonna sound. Anyway, is Aaron Taylor Johnson in the film? He's having a conversation with Jake Gyllenhaal, and this is in the book. And Jake Gyllenhaal has a gun pointed at him, and there's no one else around. You know, the sheriff isn't around, and Aaron Taylor Johnson says, "I remember your fucking wife." Like, I remember
yeah.
fucking your wife.
Oh my
And
god.
that's one of the most terrifying
Yeah,
lines
dude.
that I've ever heard, especially with Aaron Taylor Johnson's delivery.
His
He's
performance.
helpless too. Jake
Yeah,
Gyllenhaal's character
yeah.
is helpless.
That movie's so awesome.
Also, can we talk about how that movie didn't even get nominated for best editing?
Ridiculous.
Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
It's
Everything about that, it's a perfect 10 for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a 10 too. And Michael Shannon is just doesn't play a huge role in there.
Badass.
He's
though.
so good.
Yeah, he's so good.
Why is he so good? Because his role. I mean, it is important. I think there is some semblance to
Yeah.
his character has cancer, and
Yeah.
there is some semblance. I think he writes a little bit of himself into that that character
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
That character is what he wants to be.
Yeah, he wants to not care.
Yeah, he wants to not care. He wants to have that strength and just.
Yeah.
But Michael Shannon,
He delivers almost every single
he
time.
really
yeah.
does. He
Yeah.
really does. But man, I was I could watch a movie of just his character in that film,
Absolutely,
and be
yeah.
super into it.
Yeah.
One could argue that it's a Western as well.
Right? Like,
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah. That movie made me the week before I went to Colorado with my family, having to drive through West Texas and
Oh,
New
yeah.
Mexico. I watched that film and it terrified me because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to drive on the same roads that they drove on in the movie."
It will
And like,
end you.
if a movie affects you like that, if it makes you like scared to like, for the vacation that you're gonna go on in a week,
They
holy
did their
shit!
job,
yeah,
yeah.
you're doing something right.
All right, let's get back to Cole.
I think, man, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah?
because there's like there's more left than on my list than I was.
We're getting away
anticipating.
from the 10s.
Yeah, we are starting to get away from the 10s.
Not me, brother.
But here's a movie I consider a 10. I think I'm gonna go with Get Out.
Okay.
That's fair.
I am a Jordan Peele stan a little bit. I really love his movies. Get Out is still the best one that he's made.
Yeah,
I mean, Us and Nope, don't touch it.
I was just gonna make a quick note that Jordan Peele suffers from the Citizen Kane syndrome.
Yeah.
That he made arguably one of the greatest films, of the 21st century, and so everything's going to be compared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
after
it's
that.
unfair because I don't think his other movies are bad movies at all. And most of the time when you hear a bad review about them, it's like, man, he just doesn't Get Out. And I'm like, well,
yeah, that's
not-
unfair.
That's
yeah.
not his fault.
It's not Citizen Kane.
Yeah, like it's not his fault that his first movie broke a whole genre.
Oh yeah.
The Oscars
Yeah.
didn't even know. I mean, it was nominated as a comedy.
Okay, let me ask you a serious question though.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
It was
yeah,
nominated
yeah.
for best comedy,
Whoa.
So okay,
which
as-
is fucking. It's. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, there's comedy in the
There's
film.
comedy in it, but the irony of a bunch of rich white people putting Get Out as a comedy is.
Yeah.
I just don't
it's
understand how.
telling. Yeah.
I don't know how I don't know how there wasn't somebody at some point when they were doing all this that wasn't like, hey, what?
I have a deep ass question for you.
Yeah.
So obviously all three of us are white. But what was your
No,
experience?
that's not true.
Shut
No,
up.
I'm kidding.
What was your experience like as a white man viewing Get Out for the first time?
Definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Particularly, I watched it with my parents for the first time. And I don't know, man. It gives you perspective.
yeah.
In a way that I think a lot of films that tackle race issues don't. And some of that has to do with the fact that he's going to meet like this white family, but it's also like it's not just about like upfront racism. It's about liberal
subtleties,
racism.
yeah.
It's neo racism.
I would have voted for Obama a third time.
Yeah, it's racist because they're now fetishizing, right?
Yeah.
They're trying.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, well, I love like the theme. He just wants to be. The granddad started all of this because Jesse Owens beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh man, like the scene where they're, dude, when you're having the everybody's at the party and they all start asking him questions like, do you play sports? Do you have your eye? And
Yeah, they're asking him a bunch of questions about his performance, like genetically.
yeah, which is jarring.
Right. Yeah, but
Um,
it's. I mean, people do that.
Also, scenes that I watch pretty much just on a whim once a month.
Yeah.
The scene at the party.
Oh yeah.
when-
Like Lakeith Stanfield.
yeah.
Oh my
Get
God,
Out.
he was so good in
Yeah.
that film.
Get Out. And then you get the. It's so awesome.
Well, I think there's subtleties in that film that we don't think about, obviously, because it's not our experience.
Every time I watch it, I pick up something different.
Yeah.
And it's really special. Well, like the last time I watched it, I don't think I ever fully realized, obviously, like the grandma and grandpa who are, not themselves. They are like,
Right.
they're portraying to Daniel Kaluuya's character as the, the help. But that's actually the grandparents. I didn't realize like their dialogue is so crazy, like old white person.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I never really caught like, there's like one part where he's like, she's a real keeper, huh?
Yeah.
A real dong creeper.
Yeah.
And like,
I also think that dialogue sounds more creepy to us because we didn't live then, and a lot of people, they just talked like that back then.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you're taking
Yeah.
that and then you're putting it in like a young African American's
yeah.
body, and
Yeah,
have
that's
to have
gonna
a-
sound really like terrifying.
yeah, and they do a really good job because he's trying to buddy up with somebody, and
Yeah.
because he's getting freaked out because
We're gonna have to have
rightfully
a
so.
Jordan Peele episode, aren't
We're gonna have to do a Jordan Peele episode. But Get Out is. We probably need to go a little bit faster through these. But Get Out.
Yeah, we're like what, 3,
Let's
4
just do
movies
like an
in?
hour and a half, huh?
Yeah, we can do an hour and a half.
Okay.
We just need, like I'm saying, we're on 3. We're trying to get to 10 each.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's important to go into a little bit of detail though.
Yeah.
Like if we just made a whole like list and
Yeah.
we're just like yada 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 yada.
The film is legitimately terrifying. At times, it's psychological. The the force hypnosis scene.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That was so good. One of the actors I want to point out in that film, I don't know her name, but she played the maid.
Mm-hmm.
She was oddly good. She was too good for the size of her role.
The scene where he's like trying to talk to her, and
Yeah.
and then she just starts to freeze up, and she gets like she's like
Yeah, that was excellent.
facially happy, but has that one single tear.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Jarring.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't see myself being comfortable with rating that anything lower than a 10. Honestly, I mean we are
Okay, so
objectively
that's a 10 for me.
talking about the greatest films from the 2010s. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
rating some shit 10 and 9. But
Yeah. No, these should all be obviously very high, and
Yeah.
Get Out is definitely a 10 for me.
yeah, I don't think I've disagreed with you guys yet. so.
Completely changed my viewing experience.
Absolutely.
Um,
So we're back to me, I guess, huh?
yes, sir.
Okay. Let me get out the handy dandy list here. I'm going to talk about Richard Linklater's Boyhood for a couple of different reasons. As a recap, this was the film that Linklater shot over 12 years. Is that right?
Yeah, 12 years. 12, 14, something like that.
Okay. Well, I think he began the process in 2000. In the year 2000, I was 3 years old. So the idea is that he's filming the life and adolescence of his actors. We have Patricia Arquette, Ethan Hawke, also growing and aging throughout these 12 years. But that's not the most significant part about this film, although it is impressive to keep a film running for 12 plus years of shooting it. We have Richard Linklater being from Austin. All of his films are generally like overtly Texan, and so he makes us really proud down here.
We're all from Texas, by the way.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure. Cole, you're from Texas.
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
I
yeah.
dropped the Beaumont, Texas thing. But we have a different way of looking at films when it comes to Boyhood. We have linear story structure. We have conventional, the way that like screenplays work, but Linklater doesn't really abide by these rules. So he's kind of known for capturing the littlest and most profound aspects of the human experience. And that's what Boyhood does. It's universally relatable, especially being a boy from this
Right,
area.
Yeah.
So I think everybody can find some parts that they relate to, some awkward, cringy parts in their youth, teen, where they were unsure of themselves, and then forming yourself as an adult in your later years. But anyways, this film is just honest. There's nothing significant that really happens in there aside from just a boy living his life. And I think that's beautiful. I think sometimes films don't have to have extravagant things happening, and that touches
Yeah.
the human experience a lot more.
Definitely. I actually still haven't seen Boyhood, but okay, Cole, I'll let you go.
I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, okay, that's what you wanted to do.
All right,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, but I'm a big Richard.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Fuck.
I know. I'm a big Richard Linklater guy, though. I mean, I love the Before trilogy. I love the way he works as a filmmaker with his actors, particularly. But
I don't know why that's
I
really
still need
shocking.
Yeah, no, I know. I still need to watch that.
Well, shit. Okay.
I'm going to soon.
All right. Well,
I'm definitely gonna buy it on Criterion in November.
That's kind of his magnum opus in a lot of ways. We have Dazed and Confused. Well, I would argue, I don't know.
What do you think about Dazed and Confused?
I love Dazed and
I
Confused.
love
You
Dazed
do?
and Confused. Get out of here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Don't come at me with that bullshit.
Okay.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
I think it's a good hangout movie.
It's the best hangout movie.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. Linklater has a lot. He's got some hits and he's got some misses, but he definitely approaches pretty much all of his films in the same way that Carter was talking about. We have the Before trilogy, which is the intricacies of love. We have love, breaking up, and then
love, not really breaking up, but not seeing each other after like
the good, the
9
bad,
or
and the
so
ugly.
years.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Good, bad, and the
Yeah,
ugly
that's
of love.
exactly right.
But no, he's just filming two people pretty much talking and walking throughout
It's brilliant, though.
Europe.
Yeah.
But the dialogue, and
Oh, my God.
I'm sure you can talk about his approach to writing screenplays, right?
Yeah. The way he works with his actors is he will write his script, and then after he casts his actors, so let's say Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy in this case, and he will give the script to them, and then they will go through like months of rehearsals in like his apartment or one of their apartments and stuff, and then if Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke have an idea for a scene or like don't like some of the dialogue, he's like, okay, go write that scene you had an idea for, or rewrite the dialogue. And so I like that he leans very heavily on his actors. He relies on them a lot because they're so good and they bring so much to the table, and the movie's better for it.
It gives him a more natural performance for
Definitely,
sure.
Yeah. And that's really hard to do, because I can't imagine an actor trying to act as if they're not acting. I mean, that sounds really odd in a weird way.
But there's, I guess, just like an approach that Linklater has to growing up, that he's a boy at heart, that he just wants to go hang out, smoke weed with his friends, listen to rock and roll music, and avoid the tropes of, I guess, what it means to get older in a lot of ways. So we have kids in harrowing situations, like in Boyhood. We have divorces, we have abusive fathers, we have all kind of other stuff. We find kids just kind of looking at nudie mags, little boys, whatever. And so anyways, it's just, Cole and I were talking about this in relation to the Florida Project. In the film, not to give too much away, but there are, child protective services coming for these two girls. And they don't necessarily care. They want to go to Disney World. They want to escape the harrowing horrors that is life and be a kid.
Yeah, specifically the child performance at the end of that film just broke me. It is so good.
Absolutely.
James, your fourth film.
What?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm back again. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna do it. Let's talk about The Social Network.
Ah, there it is.
This is directed by David Fincher. He is, in my head, he's had some misses, but he certainly has given us a lot.
Enough hits to be
considered
amazing.
Yes. Director of Fight Club, director of Gone Girl, Panic Room. We'll forget that one. That's fine.
I'll say it. I'm not a big Fight Club guy.
Okay, well that's just wrong, but it's all right.
Okay.
The Social Network.
Zodiac
was good. I liked it.
That's all right.
You're wrong, James.
This is
better than Fight Club.
So David Fincher. Let me make a stark contrast real quick about the way that David Fincher does things. We have people like Quentin Tarantino, who's like such a realist in the way that he does. He says, this is what cinema should be, X, Y, and Z. If you're not shooting on film, you're an idiot. If you're not lighting your way, your film's a certain way, you're also an idiot. Newsflash, Quentin Tarantino hates a lot of things, just in general.
Yeah.
But something that
very opinionated.
Something that is notable about David Fincher is that he adapts with what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And so his filmmaking ability is elevating pretty much always, leading up to even his most recent film is Mank. And then I think he's doing one called The Killer.
What? Quentin Tarantino made Mank?
No. David Fincher.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
But with the invention of digital cameras, we have people not making the switch like Tarantino, still shooting film. Fincher, most notably especially for The Social Network, which is a film about invention and things that change life. He shot it digitally. He chose Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross to do the score for it, one of the coolest scores that I can think of. But more importantly, I chose this one because it is probably, even though it might not be my favorite, it probably is the most important from this decade that's going to define the decade. We have Mark Zuckerberg. This is just a profile piece about Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah. But Fincher paints him in a very fragile way, that he is, at the end, he is a man seeking the attention of a woman. So he's a misogynist. He makes FaceMash.com, which would turn into one of the greatest inventions ever made, Facebook. Love it or hate it, it's connected the entire world to each other. But he stole from everybody.
Yeah.
And
He
so
stole from my boy Andrew Garfield, bro.
yeah, you can argue that it's his white privilege. You can argue that he's like a silent genius. You could argue a lot of different stuff. But this guy has information about every single aspect of your life. He is arguably more powerful than the president of the United States, being the owner of Facebook. And so, you know, there's not a lot to say other than at that time we wouldn't have known that Facebook could influence elections. Facebook could do all of the privacy issues. Facebook could testify in front of Congress. No one knew that some guy in a dorm in Harvard who would blow off his class would do this. But I guess my favorite part about the film is at the end, he's getting sued for multiple billions of dollars. And he's sitting there, and Fincher puts him in this lonely room with Rashida Jones for some reason. That's kind of an odd. But he is refreshing the page of a Facebook page of this girl that he once went out with. And he sends her a request, and he just keeps pressing refresh. He's got it all. He lost it all. Yeah. But at the end, he still is lonely. He's a lonely man.
Yeah. So. It is a great character piece. And I think a lot of film historians will end up considering it the most important film of this decade. I mean, I think a lot of people say that. It is a very significant film. And it's very well shot.
I'm going to keep it simple with what I like about the film. Andrew Garfield.
Who doesn't like Andrew Garfield? Yeah.
I got a man crush on Andrew Garfield.
Well, you're not rooting for Andrew Garfield. What are you doing?
Seriously, he's like the sweetest guy ever.
You also have Armie Hammer playing the Winklevoss twins, which is really fucking funny.
It's a fantastic movie.
But if you're gonna get Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross on anything, it's gonna be badass no matter what. So 9 Inch Nails, dudes. Who's next, boss?
That would be me. I think.
Damn, boy, why is your password so long? Holy shit.
It's not long. I failed to put it in the first time.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, there's still so much good stuff out there. I think I'm going to go.
Do it. You won't do it.
La La Land.
Okay.
Fuck, he did it. He should have done it. Yeah.
This is
Damien Chazelle.
It's just the second movie of his that's been picked so far. I think he's the first one to have 2 movies picked. And rightfully so. They're both insanely good films. La La Land strikes me as a modern interpretation of one of my favorite films, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
Jacques Demy.
Jacques Demy on these nuts. I'll say
He's preaching. We were all thinking it.
It is. La La Land is so good. For the color theory alone, I love films that can just saturate your eyes in such a beautiful way. The scene where they're getting ready for the party and they go out and you just like their beautiful, vibrant colored dresses and the way the champagne isn't just champagne, it's like liquid gold, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, man.
That, it is shot so beautifully.
It is shot by a guy named Linus Sandgren, who also shot Whiplash, Drive, Moonlight, Babylon, the upcoming Damien Chazelle film.
Oh, nice.
First
Moonlight
Man.
is also an excellent color film.
Yeah. We can see immediately Chazelle has brought him on every single movie. So if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So.
No, amen, man.
I see that list you're looking at right there, James. Emmanuel Lubezki shot Birdman. Not that guy.
I didn't say Birdman though, right?
No, but it was on there.
No, yeah. Google is wrong.
Yeah.
For some reason.
In fact, Emmanuel won the Oscar for Best Cinematography for Birdman.
As he should.
And then did it again for The Revenant. I think he won 4 Oscars in a row for Best Cinematography.
Amazing.
Yeah.
La La Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie that saved jazz.
That's fair.
No, that's just like that was a running joke with Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling after the film that they saved jazz.
So Ryan Gosling, who doesn't like Ryan Gosling?
Oh my God, he's so good.
And he's so good in that performance. And the scene at the end in the jazz bar is
heartbreaking. Yeah, absolutely.
It hurts so much.
Also, beautiful music in La La Land.
Beautiful music.
Excellent choreography.
And it is the LA movie. When you talk about a movie
Yeah.
that encompasses the magic of LA, it's hard to find a movie that does it better. I mean, Singing in the Rain, I would also put
Right.
in that category, but La La Land does such a fantastic job. Like the opening scene, with everyone's stuck on the highway, but there's still kind of like this magic to it. It's Hollywood.
It's a dream.
Yeah.
One side note,
It's
for
an idea.
Our podcasting, we're not contradicting each other at all, which
That's
this
true.
is-
Which is
I was about to say. I was about to have a contradiction.
We're just like, that's good.
There's The Disaster Artist by A24, starring James Franco,
No.
actually paints LA with like very much dirty, a lot dirtier than La La Land. I think La La Land is the ideal, like the dream of what LA can be.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's the idealistic LA.
Yeah,
experience.
but also La La Land was all right.
Dude, get out of here.
I mean,
says no one ever.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate the filmmaking in there. It's brilliant. But it just wasn't like it didn't do that much for me. I think Damien Chazelle's other films are just better.
It's just my father, who doesn't watch musicals like at all.
That's the musical to watch.
He likes. If he is willing to be like, oh, I actually enjoy that musical and I'd watch it again, that's saying something. And La La Land's one of those movies.
So you guys don't know any of us at all, but Carter is the most stupid here, and he.
Yeah, see, that's actually not true. I'd say that's James.
Well, no, I was just gonna say Carter's never had a correct opinion in his whole entire life. I guess we're agreeing today, but
see,
we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes.
What's interesting is that the person
farther we
saying
go down
this,
this
his name
list-
is Carter. Carter's
Shut
actually the one saying this right now.
Shut the fuck up.
The farther we go down this list, I think the more we're gonna run into. Why don't we
Arguments.
Let's keep it running. Carter, what is your fourth pick, my friend?
More Andrew Garfield.
Is he doing it?
Martin Scorsese's Silence.
Fuck, he did it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was on my list too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Silence.
You're stupid for that.
You need to get on those sound effects, my friend. Silence. I don't know if you agree with me on this
I
one,
barely
but
know
this is Martin Scorsese's most underrated film
I
ever.
I also think it's his best movie. Personally,
That's a little bit of a weighted thing. It's probably my favorite. I'm not sure, like, that's kind of objective because he's had he's been making films since like the 60s, late 60s.
yeah, but I said it. I'm sticking by it.
It's a masterpiece. It's an epic. It's about religious persecution in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Japan's a country.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
So we have some like historical ideas that we're playing with in this film. A lot of it is just like, the white man's conquest and conversion of countries that they don't know anything about. And this is what, before they had cell phones, there was a bunch of white guys running around saying, hey, you're not Christian, I'm going to like kill you. And basically that was a very dirty representation of Silence.
Right. Yeah. That was a very dirty representation of that movie. I would rather talk about the religious aspects of that movie and how Andrew Garfield's character akins himself to who is it? I think
Liam Neeson?
No. I think is it Judas that he akins himself to?
Oh man, it's been a while. I have to rewatch this
Okay,
movie.
yeah. So I guess I'm not gonna go down that route. But anyways, watching that film makes me realize just how much control Martin Scorsese exerts over a film.
Oh yeah.
Because everything is so intentional. There's not a single shot that lasts longer than like he wants it to.
Absolutely.
But also, like Andrew Garfield was robbed of a nomination for an Oscar that year because that's his best performance.
I think that there is I guess there's a misconception about Martin Scorsese. I'm not sure how universally true this is. I certainly had one that Scorsese only knows about gangster movies. He only does X, Y, and Z.
I used to be that guy.
I used to be that guy as well, and then I realized, holy shit, this guy he's done everything and he's executed them all.
He just likes gangster movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just likes it. Yeah, he's Italian.
I do think we should give a shout out to
Carter Johnson. Let's
Thelma
give him a shout out.
Schumacher, who is the editor that has done 90% of all his films.
Yeah. She did Taxi Driver, right?
Oh yeah.
She
yeah.
started Taxi Driver was the first one she did, and this is also a woman in the industry as a lead editor. She did all the films from Taxi Driver to Raging Bull, and then
Wow.
everything from Departed to current day.
I knew her name. I couldn't place it though.
Yeah, I mean, she is one of the best
brilliant,
film editors to ever grace the planet, and she keeps the pacing in Scorsese movies doable.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
God bless her.
No, absolutely. And I think there is one important note to make about Martin Scorsese himself. He has done more for modern cinema and just any cinema just ever out of anybody ever.
Well, don't discount Akira Kurosawa, people like that in England.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. He started the Film Foundation with, I believe, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and a couple of other things, but they are donated to the preservation and restoration of films. So you have 120 years of film, maybe 140 years of filmmaking. You have to store these films somewhere. These film reels, they can get aged, they can get expired. If you're not storing them properly, then they're ruined. There's a lot of films that are simply lost. And so Martin Scorsese and the boys, George Lucas and all of them, they dedicated
Steven
Coppola.
Coppola.
Yeah, Coppola's in there too. They dedicated their lives to the preservation of this. This is why we have upgraded films all the time. We have upgraded from Blu-ray, 4K Ultra HD. There is just a massive understatement for what he's done specifically for that, but also Scorsese's work with the Criterion Collection has opened up world cinema to the conversation in American eyes. Because if you want to go see a film from India, you're not going to go find it on Netflix, Hulu.
Well, you can with
RRR.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
aside the point, you know what I'm talking about.
Did you watch the movie?
No, but I'm aware of it.
It's actually kind of good.
It's one of the
I've heard
movies.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually kind of good.
But yeah, we're gonna have a whole podcast about the state of streaming services and everything of that nature.
Oh boy, we
Yeah.
will.
If we get
brother.
that would have been a really good place to plug a VPN if one wanted to sponsor us.
VP, what's a VP? VP on those nuts.
Anyways, Silence is great. Everyone should watch
Yeah.
Silence.
What's your next pick, Carter?
Oh man. Okay, it's getting really hard now.
It is getting.
That's what she said.
Guys, I just want to say we are at an hour and 11.
We're going to an hour 30, right?
Yeah. Do you want to stop at 5 movies apiece?
Yeah, we can stop.
Yeah.
Are we at
man.
4?
We're at 4 right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so am I
if
about
we
to do
want,
my
we
fifth?
can continue this later, or we
We can
move
just
on to something else.
separate into 2 episodes.
Yeah. Do you want to record them all now?
We can.
Okay. Tell Kylie I'm going to be late.
Yeah,
We'll
and you're
take
also going to the gym with me after this.
Yes. We'll take a small break after 5.
Yeah.
Good, and then we'll get back in it.
So Carter is now a gym bro,
Yeah, barter.
and we call him Barter. This is his
Beefcake
like
Carter.
alternate reality.
He's a Snyder bro.
Yeah, that's a
Barter
weird
is-
thing.
Okay, hey, listen. This is going to be brought up in another future podcast.
It will.
I'm already
Oh, yeah.
taking notes. I'm already taking notes. I'm going to prove James and Cole wrong.
Okay,
Not
so,
about all of his films, just about 3 of them.
Carter likes Zack Snyder movies, which his filmography.
3 of them.
Shut the fuck up. His filmography entails The Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole,
I haven't seen that since I was a child.
300,
slaps.
300 and Watchmen might be okay, but the ones that Carter really likes are
I
Batman versus Superman,
Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's Justice League. There, I finished
Zack
it
Snyder's
for
Justice League. That is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while. But
Okay,
say what you
okay.
want.
Okay, we're gonna
Shut up, shut up. Okay,
Legends of the Guardians and the Cucks of Gold.
Okay, for everyone listening, I will be doing a separate podcast
I will be debating him.
explaining those movies, and I will be going through my entire list of notes without interruption from James Cottingham, and then he can reply.
I like this. We could do a debate. I can be the moderator.
Debate these nuts.
No, there we go. All right, number 5, Carter.
It's time to be real.
Oh man, it's getting really. It's starting like my list is getting much smaller now.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Okay. Shit.
Any day now.
Take your time. He's mad because it was Batman versus Superman.
No, actually, that's not on my list, idiot.
If you don't talk about First Reformed, I'm gonna disown you.
Okay, that will be talked about. So I'm going to go
Bitch.
ahead and say that next.
Okay.
First Reformed is
Give us a bio.
First Reformed is a movie about Ethan Hawke. He plays a pastor who is having a crisis of faith. There is a woman who comes to him and
Amanda
says
Seyfried.
that Amanda Seyfried, who tells him that her husband needs to talk and needs some help. So Ethan Hawke does this. He goes and talks to her husband, who's like an activist. And it's really like he finds it very exhilarating because basically they're having like a debate on the state of the world and God and faith and all of that. And throughout the film, the guy, spoiler alert, kills himself, and that sends Ethan Hawke like into a spiral. And
Cole hasn't seen it yet.
It's not like a big surprise, anyways. Cole.
He kills himself.
I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah,
still
not
worth
Ethan
watching.
Hawke. That's not what I'm talking about. Anyways,
Will you tell the good people who directed this movie?
Paul Schrader wrote and directed it. He directed it, right?
He did.
Okay,
yeah.
Writer
Writer of Taxi Driver. Writer
Yeah.
of Raging Bull.
Yeah, and basically, the film is like a modernization of, it's taking everything that like happens in the world, like the news, climate change, a bunch of like terrible things that we think about, and this priest starts like doing research on all that stuff, which sends him into like a massive crisis of faith, and he's like, well, why is God so silent? Why if all of this terrible stuff is going on, why can't God stop it? And yeah, it's a very, very interesting film, very powerful, and the ending is just incredible. It's also like directly pulled from Winter Light by Ingmar Bergman. It's pretty much the same movie, just modernized, and I do have to say, First Reformed is better.
I also love First Reformed. I don't have any like philosophical notes on First Reformed other than when I watched it for the first time.
Because he's a loser.
No, when I watched it for the first time, fuck you. I was like, what the hell did I just watch? And then I sat with it and I was like, oh my God, I need to watch that like 7 more times.
Yeah.
That was a good choice. Are we back to Cole?
Yeah, we are.
Dude, I don't even know, man. Like
It's
this
getting really hard, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna
Same, brother.
I got one more, and I'm gonna be defined by this last one for some reason.
Here we go.
Oh, I know what he's gonna say.
I'm
wait, no, never mind.
You don't know what I mean.
No,
I'm
no.
gonna do.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
Last round I
Just
picked.
go ahead,
I made it where one director was picked twice. I'm about to do that again
Oh God.
because I'm picking my boy Denis again.
Oh yeah, which one you going with?
Prisoners.
I was gonna do that.
I was
Shit.
gonna say if you didn't do Prisoners, I'd be upset.
It's the only other one on my
Love that
list
movie.
for this.
Phenomenal.
Yes. That was the first Denis movie I watched, and it caused me to have a week-long binge of his films.
Denis is Canadian, right?
French-Canadian.
French Canadian.
French Canadian. Okay. Prisoners stars Hugh Jackman,
Jake
Paul
Gyllenhaal.
Dano, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
In essence, it is a kidnapping story. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, and we never get to see the kidnapping happen
Yeah. Okay.
on screen.
And
Yeah,
it
because
gives-
it's about the father's real lack of control of the situation,
Yeah.
and he forces himself to have control, and in that loses a bit of his
Morality.
humanity.
Yeah, humanity.
Yeah, but it's the same concept.
Right,
he's
It's a very morally ambiguous movie.
yes, it is.
How far would you go to save your daughter?
And the answer is as far as it takes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Denis explores this in a way that's just fucking brutal.
And haunting.
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of that movie that will just
That movie is so
Always fuck
perfectly
with me.
paced.
yeah.
And the entire thing, it's like, I'm really sorry for that background noise, guys.
Yeah.
But it's
supposed to be a soundproof room.
yeah. It's so dark and melancholic throughout the entire thing. And I throughout the entire shoot, it was overcast and like raining almost every day, which was perfect for the atmosphere of the film.
It takes
It's
place
very
in
atmospheric.
Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving.
Around winter time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Paul Dano's performance in Prisoners is one of the best that I've seen in years.
His
Yeah.
characterization is stupid good.
Very reminiscent of his performance in the Riddler as well, I would say, in some ways.
Blah blah blah.
All right.
Okay.
This is going to be the positive podcast, and then the next is going to be me and Carter yelling at each
Yeah,
other.
I'm excited for the second 5 because it's gonna get gross.
Oh, yeah.
James, why don't you go ahead and give us your final pick of
All right.
our first episode?
Look, I'm gonna get a little different here by suggesting that Coco is gonna be the film that I
Holy
choose.
God.
That
happened.
That happened. I know. I wasn't going to. And
First
then
Reformed Prisoners.
I decided
Coco.
I just did it. I don't know why I did it.
No,
I kind of want to backtrack, but
No. I respect it.
Yeah,
I respect it.
Okay. Well,
Putting it out there.
shut the fuck
I'm
up.
kidding.
Here is the reason why I picked it. First off, animation is art.
Yeah,
Bare
absolutely.
minimum.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
That's true.
And there's not anybody. It's not recognized in society as such.
If we're doing the 2000s, I would have like 3 or 4 Ghibli films in this lineup. I mean, I get it.
Absolutely. But basically, Disney. I don't like Disney pretty much at all.
Yeah.
Disney Pixar has made some wonderful films.
Wally Ratatouille.
I'm going to beat your ass, Barter.
Disney needs to be broken up. They're destroying media.
No. I'm saying Wally
They
Ratatouille.
really are, but they have made some films that have shined through,
Absolutely.
and the 2010s that are really important. But to me, Coco, first off, it's about heritage in a way that obviously I'm from Southeast Texas, a white guy from Southeast Texas. I'm not really acutely aware of everything that goes into
It's
Hispanic
another
culture.
movie that gives you good insight.
Yeah. Not to mention, first off, it is probably one of the most beautiful animated films of the 2010s. What? Give me
How to
another
Train
one.
Your Dragon, boy.
Oh, fuck
What are you
you.
calling? What are you
Jesus
talking
Christ.
about?
Oh, my God.
All right, you're officially irrelevant. Okay, but I think the important thing to take away from Coco is that your loved ones are going to pass throughout your life, and that's a really scary thing when you're a
Yeah,
kid.
definitely.
When you think about losing your loved ones, possibly. But Disney and I think Pixar did this film, right? Disney.
I think it's just Disney.
I have
Okay,
no idea.
well, Disney does a wonderful job of kind of not making it so fucking terrifying. Death, not terrifying.
I do think it's a very important film for children, which is Disney. I don't think has always done a really good job at that, and it's really important when you're making these family-friendly animated films. I say that they've actually
They've done a good.
they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
They've done a pretty good job. Like Wall-E is like, I'm glad that there's kids that are going to sit down and watch that movie.
Absolutely.
And I feel the same way about Coco.
Well, you have the family members basically just going off into this beautiful existence where they're all coexisting, and what keeps them alive is the memory of each other.
Yeah,
And we have lost our grandpas, we've lost our parents, we've lost a lot of other people, but they're not really lost if they live inside of us. And it's kind of it's layered for a kid to understand. But it paints death. It gives death consciousness in a way that it kind of made me not so scared of death in a little way.
And especially coming from, we live in the Bible Belt.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's very fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
And having a film that its main focus is to
Not focus on religion, but just give you a little bit of.
not to scare you about these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
To actually try to comfort
Yeah.
these scary ideas, and it is part of the human experience, and
Absolutely.
it's important that we educate our children on it and not pretend it's like this boogeyman in the closet that's out to get them. It's just a part of life.
It is, absolutely. And I think Soul does a brilliant way of doing this as well. A lot of the same themes. Soul, Disney Pixar Soul is more of live life to the fullest. You never know when that moment of death could hit you. It's been years since I've watched Coco, actually, but I
Coco
need
watch party.
we absolutely need to have a Coco watch party. But I can't think of anything more beautiful. It left me in tears. I don't respond to Disney movies that way.
Yeah.
This is kind of a new frame of Disney movies. It's not princesses, it's not fairies, it's not whatever the hell's in Disney movies.
Right. I think it's important. Like, I don't think it's nearly as good of a film as Coco, but like Inside Out, I think it's a really good film for kids to understand that, like,
I haven't seen it, unfortunately.
So it's like it's the inside of a girl's mind, and all of her emotions are personified into characters.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as good as like Coco or Wall-E or anything like that. But just
Right.
like the concept and being willing to address it for kids, I think is important. You're gonna have all these crazy emotions, and they are natural. They're not something you need to be scared about, and I think that's important because that's not. I remember being a child and feeling like a villain for feeling some of the things that are just natural feelings that everybody feels. And so,
would you say it's important because we study film as a profession and just conventional filmmaking, but it's important to understate that if these three fellows making this podcast right now were poised with the possibility of making something like Coco, all of us would be deeply clueless. I mean, as far as the fundamentals of like shot reverse shot filmmaking, sure, we get that. But this is a whole new level of filmmaking that people do not have the respect that they should have for.
You're talking about for the animation, right?
For the animation, yeah. Well, and then how do you direct an animated film?
Right, yeah.
That
seems so very hard.
And so that's why I think I chose it, because this is something that is not even in my ballpark, where I think films, when you watch them and you're genuinely like, how in the hell did they make that? Those are the questions that you should ask. But also, we need to acknowledge, and I'm running over time here, but we need to acknowledge that animation workers are underpaid, massively underpaid, undercredited, sometimes not even credited at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
the hours that they're asked to work to cramp and make a deadline.
Yeah, absolutely.
People do. It does happen to physical film sets as well, but it's different when it happens to these animators because it's been happening for so long, and people have just been pretending like it's not a big deal. But asking someone to do nothing but slave over a computer for an extra 30 hours to their 40-hour week
absolutely.
so you can push out a film is
But here's
crazy.
The other thing with these animated films, mostly by these huge monopolies like Disney. We were able to list off the directors of these other films because we know them.
I have no idea.
They're small, independent. Yes, if you pick up like Coco on Blu-ray, they're just going to say it's a Disney film. They're not going to do conventional credits in the back. There was someone who directed that. No one knows who he is or she. Who knows? I was looking at these. I was looking at just like a Disney collection of Blu-ray. You couldn't tell me the person who made Coco. Couldn't tell me the person who made Toy Story. All of these classic films
that affected me as a person.
They operate under a company, and so there are some artists out there that are virtually unknown because of this reason.
Yeah, I agree. And to piggyback briefly on something that James said about Coco and death, there's an interesting comparison that I wanted to make, more of an adult kind of scary comparison. The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. Shout out to Mike Flanagan who made those.
I knew he was going to fit that in there.
Yeah, he's got to find a way.
Yeah,
somehow.
Those what Coco did for James, Hill House and Bly Manor did for me, and I don't know. It's a very comforting, non-religious way of exploring death, and like I don't know, just to almost like paraphrase the film, like your loved ones, they're dead, but they're not gone, and they're going to be scattered throughout your entire life and through multiple people's lives, like new snow, like confetti, like Nell says in the last episode of Hill House. And they're going to live on in your eyes, in your memories, in the love that you give to other people, in your arms. And like they loved you all completely, and you love them the same, and the rest is confetti, and that's like all that matters,
It's beautiful.
Amen.
Well, we are reaching our time. Do we want to have any concluding thoughts here? Or are we just going to end her?
Well, I'll do a quick recap of what we've picked. Carter is right now sitting with Whiplash, Interstellar, Nocturnal Animals, Silence, and First Reformed. Very solid list. I currently have Arrival, Hereditary, Get Out, La La Land, and Prisoners. And James has Her, Call Me By Your Name, Boyhood, Social Network, and Coco.
All right.
So
I think that was pretty good. What are we talking about next time?
We'll have another episode
The next
We'll
five.
just have another episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the next 5, right?
Yeah, the next
Okay.
5.
And then once we have both these episodes released, I will put it out to the public to vote on.
Beautiful.
All right, guys.
I
We'll
love
see y'all
that.
next time.